Clients who work in corporate settings often have monthly expenses. Every month, they will compile all of their business-related receipts and manually enter the details into a program that then gets approved or returned by the company's accounting department. Expense reporting can be incredibly tedious, which is where you and I come in. While there are far too many expense reporting platforms to be able to go through one by one, we will cover how to create an expense workflow with your clients. Step 1, create a schedule. When you set up your system for managing receipts and spending history, you'll want to come up with a schedule, i.e., when to check in with your clients' receipts, when to submit the reports into the company, and then immediately pop those dates into your calendar. And set alerts to remind yourself. Step 2, create a folder sharing system. Now, the lion's share of responsibility falls on your client here because they're the ones that have to forward receipts or snap a photo and send the details to you, or scan and upload the receipt. So I recommend creating a system with your client, though, because it is very easy to miss a receipt if they send a receipt to you via text and another by uploading it to a shared drive, and then they send you a third receipt by email. So my go-to central system for sharing a file is Google Drive. But if they're not Gmail or G Suite users, then creating a shared folder in Dropbox is a great tool as well. And here's exactly how to do that in each. You and your clients use Google. You have access to Google Drive, which is free. What you'll want to do to create a folder is simply go to your drive and look for the new button on the left-hand side. We're going to create new folder, and we'll name this expenses. After you hit create, go ahead and open the folder by double-clicking. We're going to create a new folder again. This can be something like receipts, and we might want to create one more folder for expense reports. That way we can keep track of all the reports that you're submitting as well. I'm going to go back, we're going to click on expenses, and we're going to look for the sharing button. All you'll do now is enter your client's email, and if you look down here, Google Drive is pretty great because it is generally very secure. I like to keep folders set to restricted in that only people that you add can actually open the link. So since we're working with financial data, it's a pretty good idea to keep this restricted just so that you and the people you choose, which will be your client or clients, can access this folder. If neither of you use Google Drive, you can also use Dropbox. Dropbox is another free service, so if you don't already have an account, be sure to create one using your email. From the home screen on your account, on the right-hand side, you'll see New Shared Folder. So this is the option we're going for here, since we're going to be sharing this with your clients as well. From here, it's the same thing. We'll create a folder that says Expenses. You will add your client's email. And over here, from the drop-down, you'll make sure that you've selected Can Edit. That's so that they can also upload receipts, add any files that they need to, and you can add an optional message if you want. And once you click share, your client will immediately have access. Step 3 is to get approval from your client. Now, this is an often overlooked step, but it is a crucial one. Set a calendar reminder to yourself to get approval from your client before you submit the expenses to the company accounting department. Emailing your client ahead of time to confirm the number of receipts that you have, the total amount that you're submitting for reimbursal is a really great idea, because more often than not, a client will realize that the number that you're submitting actually sounds a little off. So it's very common for clients to forget a receipt or two. Plus, getting approval from your client is what I fondly refer to as CYA. Cover your If accounting kicks back the receipts for any reason, your client then cannot place the blame on you as they've already approved the figures. Step 4, get familiar with the company's expense platform. Each company will have its own expense system, so definitely take a few minutes to get familiar with how it works. Some of the more common platforms include Expensify, Concur, and Soho Expenses. Now, here's typically how all platforms work. Your client's company will set a due date in which all employees of that company need to turn in all of their work-related receipts. This date is typically set towards the end of each month. If your client has spent any money on anything work-related, could be business lunches, travel, work supplies, maybe even mobile phone bills, they'll need to send you the receipts for proof. When you get those receipts, your task is to enter all of those details into the expense platform. Usually you will include the name of the merchant, that's where they spent the money, date of the transaction, the amount of the transaction, and category. So you'll tag or label each expense as a category. This helps accounting departments do their work in the back end. So if there's one key takeaway here, it's that you, as a VA, creating a really solid system for receiving those receipts. I'm talking setting up folders so that it's easy to receive those receipts, so that it's easy for your client to know where to send them, so that you guys are on the same page about when you need all the receipts by, and then finally you getting approval of these are the receipts I'm submitting, this is the number that you're getting back from your employer. All that will really help. And again, don't skip that approval process, because getting the pre-approval from your client is a great way to make sure that they know exactly what's going on. They don't feel like they're missing any receipts. It's good to be in as much communication about expenses as you possibly can be.